Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to YTCSC. If you don't already know, my name is Mark. We're going to go over some transfer rumours / gossip. I think because we've had some real transfer rumblings happen in the last few days, we're going to start seeing some of the nonsense appear, which I'll cover in a second. But as usual, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click the bell, and that will let you know when our videos drop, and we'll try and get as much content to you as possible. Today's videos are going to consist of, for me, a centre-back rumour, which is nonsense, what you might read about. A couple of left-backs in the frame, a couple of Scottish boys which have potential, one more than the other, I think. A midfielder that we have been coveting for some time, that might be gone now. We might be losing out in that option, and a couple of striker options that have been floated recently. So, without further ado, let's get into the videos. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to poo-poo it from my point of view anyway, is Michael Keane of Everton to Celtic on a free transfer. This is one I can't see happening at all for a few reasons. I'm just going to bring up the article that we've got this from. So as you can see, the Celtic boys are talking about Celtic tip to sign £25 million England international for free. I don't know where they're getting £25 million from. I wouldn't rate Michael Keane at £25 million. What they do go on to talk about, which is correct, is the fact that we've got a few defenders that might be going out the door. Stephen Welsh, Lagerbielke and Naroki. Those boys are likely to leave, even though Naroki, I think, has started playing pretty well. The article then talks about the fact that Keane's contract is coming to an end, so you're going to get him on a free, which is fair enough. But I think his current wages would be tough for Celtic to get anywhere near. And I think he's now 32 years old. Is that the kind of player Celtic want to bring in to cover any players that are leaving? Not for me. So this one, although thank you very much for the information, Celtic boys, I am going to poo-poo that out the door. I don't think that's one that will be coming to fruition. Michael Keane to Celtic, for me, is a no. Okay, moving on to the next couple of players that have been spoken about. It's back to that left back position. A couple of players, a couple of Scottish players that have been mentioned in the realms of coming in and being back up to Kieran Tierney. First one I would potentially like to see, maybe a wee bit unrealistic. Second one, I'm not so sure. Potentially, he's an older age, and he's done a wee bit in Scotland. But firstly, Josh Doig, the old Hibs player. We know that he went to Hells Verona for about £3 million, signed a 4-year contract in about 2022. Played around 34 games and scored a couple of goals, so he done well before getting a move. A problem that has cropped up when I'm doing a wee bit of digging into Doig, a problem for me anyway, is that Doig admitted he wanted to escape the pressures of playing for one of the top 2 big clubs in Edinburgh. In my opinion, if he can't handle playing for a top tier club in Edinburgh, how is he going to handle playing for a Celtic or a Rangers? Obviously, we're the ones looking at him, but if he can't handle playing for Hibs with the pressure there, is that a mentality thing that should we actually be looking at this guy if that was one of the reasons why he left? Maybe he's matured and maybe he's grown into it, because he has moved from Hells Verona and he's playing in the Serie A and he's done pretty well actually. He's done okay for himself. Scored a very, very good goal for Hells Verona. A volley, and what I'm going to do just now, actually, I'm going to pop on, if you bear with me a wee second, I'm going to pop on just a video clip while I'm talking about him, and show you what's been happening with Josh Doig since he's moved. So, you'll see him playing a wee bit of football here, but you also see a couple of goals, and one of the goals that was mentioned was a cracking volley, and that does come in here, and you'll see him scoring that. Um, he made 22 appearances moving on from Hells Verona, um, with Sassuolo. That move came at a cost of £5 million. The roughly works out at. And again, he done pretty well. So I think they knocked him a move back. Hells Verona knocked a move back from Marseille. Didn't offer enough money or whatever it was. But he went on to sign for Sassuolo. And again, he's done pretty well there. First game he's played for them, he get two decent assists. So you've seen there just with the wee clips that I've shown. We know him from his days in Scotland anyway. We know a wee bit about him, but that there just showed you a wee bit about what he's been doing in Italy. He has went through the Scotland setup from under 18s to actually making his debut last week against Liechtenstein, which is good. It's going to bump the price up a wee bit though. Potential for me with this guy is probably not, because I think you're talking about between £6 and £8 million now, and I think there's a couple of Italian teams that are looking at him as well. Would I like to see a young Scottish guy in playing for Celtic? Yes, I would. And for me, I know we've questioned his mentality there when he's talking about one of the big two clubs in Scotland, or in Edinburgh, sorry. He's went away and he's taken that chance, and I think the Scottish boys that have left Scotland to go to places like Italy and stuff like that, they've done really, really well. Maybe that's helped him grow and mature. Is it out with Celtic's price tag? 6 and 8 million for a backup left back? I think it is. I think he is probably out with what we're willing to pay. But is he a good player? I think he is a good player, and I think he's went away and become better. I think he was a good player when he was at Hibs. So that's a potential. That's one that's there. Unless we can get him at a knockdown price, I don't think that's one that's going to happen. The second one, and it's probably more realistic, is James Penrice, the boy who now plays with Hearts. He was an academy graduate from Thistle. He went through the academy at Thistle and ended up getting into the first team. Played for Thistle 84 times, but he went out on loan throughout that, and he was out at East Fife and he was also out at Livingston between 2015 and 2021. He finally signed for Livy 2012, and he played for them about 77 times and scored about 3 goals. Moved to Hearts on a free 2024, and he's caught the eye. I think he's caught the eye in Scotland. Been mentioned in and around the Scotland setup. Is he worth a call up? Is he not? This one's more realistic for me. I don't know what people think of him, and would you have him in the Celtic team? I just don't like Hearts. Right? I just don't like Hearts, and I don't like Hearts fans, and that's probably bad to say, but they are the wee Rangers for a reason. You know, they are the wee Rangers for a reason. I remember my wife, and this is probably why I don't like it, my wife and I went through to Edinburgh for a wee night out, and we're in a pub, and this Hearts fan who was pretty bitter was giving us a hard time for being from Glasgow, and you're a Celtic fan and blah blah blah, and he was worse than a Rangers fan, to be honest, and it's always stuck with me, and I just don't like them. But do we hold that against players? No, we don't. Look, Greg Taylor started his career at Rangers and went on to have a cracking career with Celtic. So positives with this guy, he's a wee bit older, so he's been in and around the Scotland. He knows Scottish football inside out. He's 26 years old. So for me, that's an age where you're thinking the boy probably wants to come in and play. And if Brendan Rodgers, it's true to his word, he will play games, and we know that we don't want to run Kieran Tierney into the ground, so it fits. I think we would get him for in and around maybe 2-3 million. I don't know what people think of the numbers I'm quoting there. I've not seen anything, but I'm thinking that's what we would likely get him for, 2 or 3 million, and I think that's probably a number that Celtic are willing to look at. 2 million, 3 million pounds, and then the guy comes in and is an alternative to Kieran Tierney when that all when the season starts. So those are the two left backs that we've got. We're talking about, and let me know if you think either of those are a realistic option. Josh Doig, I think, would be my preferred option, but I think he would probably be out with our transfer budget. And James Penrice, I'll be honest, I don't really focus much on Hearts, but I know that he's been talked about quite a lot, and they're saying positive things, so I'd need to go in and have a wee look and see personally what I think, but he's probably more realistic, and the fact that the both of them are Scottish works for me. I'd like to see more Scottish players in and around Celtic. Okay, one I'm going to move on to, and we all know about this guy, but have Celtic lost out now on Lennon Miller? Why am I saying have Celtic lost out on Lennon Miller? He has been apparently, or he's on the radar of Sunderland, and Sunderland are looking at a bid of around £10 million. They're considering making a move for about £10 million. It was reported in the Record recently that's what's happening, and if that is the case, if Sunderland are looking to pay £10 million, he's out with our reach. Celtic will not go and pay £10 million for Lennon Miller. This will be Celtic's own doing, in my opinion. We should have went and got this boy before this. We should have had him in and signed, and it's a very similar situation that we had with John McGinn. We haggled, we messed about in pricing. I don't think we've actually put a bid in. We might have put a bid in for Lennon Miller, I don't know, but it feels very similar to that. If we lose out on Lennon Miller, then it's only our own fault. I think Motherwell booted out a bid from Udinese between £2.5 and £4 million, so I think if we'd have come in and offer 5 or 6 million, we would have got him. And I know a lot of players are saying, where would he fit? I think he would fit with Celtic pretty well. I think he's one for the future. He would get game time if you just rotated properly. He's went through the Motherwell ranks, and that's another question that keeps popping into my mind. What happens to our academy players? Nothing happens to them. They go to the academy, go through the academy, they play in a lowland league, which is a total waste of time. They don't learn to be proper footballers to the standard that we need them to be, whereas the kids that are choosing not to come to Celtic, which Lennon Miller apparently chose not to come to Celtic to go to Motherwell to get game time, he's flourished. He's now played a load of games for Motherwell. He's now learning to play football, which is really, really important, playing first team football. We need to start integrating these boys from our youth team into our team, or get them out on loan. Get them out on loan to a championship or a Premier League team, and let them learn how to become proper footballers so that they can then become a Celtic player. It just sticks in my throat that the amount of talent that we must have in there, because surely we've got players just as good as Lennon Miller at that age group, 15, 16, 17. What the hell happens to them? What happens? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about left backs and midfielders, and I'm going to come on to in just a second the options that we have got in what not options, the transfer rumours that have been floating about for strikers in just a second. Okay, on to the last of these rumours that I've got for you today. Up front, we are clearly short on a striker if we are going to play Dyson out wide the whole season. We've been linked with Bojan Majowski, the old Aberdeen player. I think this one is a nonsense. I'm going to be honest. I think we were interested in him before he moved to Girona. It's not worked out for him in Girona at all. I think he had quite a good spell at Aberdeen. Scored some goals, done really, really well, but he's moved on to Girona. I can't remember if he moved for a £4 million fee, something like that anyway. And it hasn't worked out. And I don't know if these are names just getting tossed into the fray because people are lazy and they want to get something written about. But Bojan Majowski for me is a no, not performing in Girona, and I don't think it's one that we'll be looking at. It's not really one I would be overly enamoured about. I wouldn't want him to be our next striker at Celtic, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. We've got a guy called Benjamin Ingren from Nordisland we've been linked with, who I am going to just pop on again. I'll just share a wee video with you and while I'm talking, and you can have a wee look and you can decide for yourself what you think, right? So, a couple of minutes and it will just be running through what this boy's all about. I'll talk through it while I'm here. So, playmaker, can play through the middle, I think, and out wide. He joined Nordisland from Genk in 2022. Scored 16 goals and 4 assists last season, which is decent if you're not talking about a striker. Wide man, or even if he's playing as a 10, that's a good return. It's a good goal return and it's good goal involvement, which is what we want to see. He was an IFK Gothenburg player. He made his senior debut for Sweden earlier this week and capped it off 2 goals against Hungary, which is superb. He won't be renewing his contract. Nice goal. Won't be renewing his contract with his current team. So Celtic have an option to actually get in if this interest is real. They've got an option to come in here and either. I think it's a couple of £1 million is the cost. So it's let them know that he's not going to renew his contract. But I think we're looking at potentially £2 million for this guy. Just looking at the clips, I know it's YouTube reels and we say this all the time, like as a YouTube reel, it's going to be all the best bits. But it looks half decent. But again, it's another one that it's not, the sources aren't amazing. But it's a name that we've been mentioned with, and it's another name that just to bring to the fore for you guys so that you know exactly what we're doing. Just like that. But I'm just going to pause it now, right, and we can get back to the video. That's us for today. We've brought you a wee bit of information on a couple of left backs, central midfielder. We know that the guy we've been looking at for quite some time, that looks to be dead in the water now. If Sunderland do come in and put a £10 million bid in, Lennon Miller will not be going to Celtic, in my opinion. Keane, if that happens, I would be absolutely shocked. I would be super surprised if we get Michael Keane in. I can't see it happening. And the other two, again, Majowski, no. This guy, I don't know. I don't know how much is in that. But listen, as usual, if you've not subscribed, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can get new videos dropping all the time. I hope the sound's a wee bit better in this one. If not, drop me a message on the chat and let me know. And as always, please message, comment on the videos and we can have a conversation. Whether you agree, whether you don't agree, whether you think this video was rubbish, the content was rubbish or the content was good, let me know. And we can have a wee chat in the comments, okay? Listen, thank you very much and we'll catch you in the next video.